I'll just give you a quick experience in my freshman year at Oberlin College. Oberlin College has program houses that like you'll find all through many liberal arts campuses, from Cornell to where they have Ujima House. But Oberlin, we have an African Heritage House, a Third World House, and on and on and on. I say that we have different program houses. We have a Hebrew House, which is also which I would also put with an African Heritage House and a Third World House. But then we also have language houses that teach languages, and then we have an Asia House, which is really controversial because, let's just put it this way. My freshman or sophomore year, there was an Asian American student who ran through the halls of Asia House screaming, "Why are there so many Asiaphiles here?" And so that just characterizes how differently these spaces can operate. My freshman year, there are a few things that happened. There was someone who spray painted "Death to all chinks" and "Good chink equals dead chink" on the memorial arch in the middle of the campus of Tappan Square. Tappan, as you know, was a white abolitionist who, and on this memorial arch, it's to the Boxer Rebellion in China, but it's only saying, well, we sent over some people to proselytize the heathens, and look, they killed them. So in response to this, a student wrote, "Death to all chinks and good chink equals dead chink" as the underlying message of that arch. At the same time, there were threats to close the African Heritage House's dining hall. There was a student who wrote on the Muslim students' student union door, "Muslim students suck camel dick." And so you say to yourself, if all these students don't have any means to discuss critically difference in our society, if we don't have any understanding of why white and black is different, for example, why we are in a process of decolonization, and why our forms of representation are necessarily different from the majority, if we don't have the tools to discuss that, then we get this. The master's tools, as Audre Lorde says, the master's tools will not dismantle the master's house. And so these are the master's tools. This NIGS on campus, look at all these uppity Negroes, and that's all this is uppity Negro talk. And so these are uppity Negro, if that's uppity Negro talk, then you have to imagine the white people who are saying that. These are the white people who are caught in an antiquated rhetoric of white and black, an antiquated rhetoric of them and us, an antiquated rhetoric of, if they are emancipated, they will get us. An antiquated rhetoric that says that if this were really a meritocracy, then it'd be like the NBA, and Larry Bird would just be one of a handful of people. That's the fear that people have. And I want you to understand that at the same time as there's that fear, there's the sexualized fear. So you get all the porn, you get all the thug porn, you get all the, and you just look at it, white on black as porn, or white on black in all of our popular culture. There is this need to dominate the black other, but to have that person submit to their domination. And so in porn, you see that inversed. So you see, a white woman who actually has a website to go around and saying, "I'm going to screw all of the, big black men that I can find through the South." Or you get white men who want all the black sluts that they can find and dominate them and humiliate them and piss on them and, choke them and all this different stuff. These are the very same people. The very same people who are spewing hate, those are the very same people. Now, if you tell them this, they won't understand it. And that's where moral leadership comes in. So what we did is we just went to our administrators and we said, we came here to study, we don't feel safe. It is unfortunate that we have to take up our homework time, our student time, blah, 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 to just deal with sick white racism. But here we are, we're going to sit in the administration building, and well, we're going to make it possible so that you cannot function until and unless you deal with these. And I say until and unless because that is a term that you hear in India, until and unless. And it's important that we understand that link, because when we talk about our heritage, part of it is also found here in India where I sit, in civil disobedience. You look at a Bayard Rustin, and I hope you do see the film Brother Outsider, which you can download. I hope that you do understand that when it comes to standing up for rights, there's SNCC. Sometimes you just have to sit down you have to take the nonviolent approach. That is the moral leadership approach. Take your cues from President Barack Obama. But do not let this go. Do not let this go. Demand that your campus protect you. Demand that your campus bring people there to mediate these discussions. Because what's really going on is that these students just don't have any way to talk about this. And so they just get rage. You can look at Bell Hooks' book, Killing Rage. And she opens it with a murderous, murderous, murderous rage. I fully understand that rage. But to make any strides in this, we're going to have to also understand that this is white rage. And it comes from a similar misunderstanding, a similar reading of a superficial reading of what merit means in the modern world. Now, you and I know that there is no meritocracy in America. But you also realize that not everybody knows that. Not everybody understands that you could be a C student and be president of the United States if you're white and rich, but you can't be a C student and, as Chris Rock says, manager of a fast food chain, a fast food restaurant, if you are a mediocre black student. So there are plenty of instances that can be drawn out for people, but unless they're drawn out for people and really in non-sensationalist language, then you'll just get this over and over and over and over again. And I tell you, you guys need some outside intervention. I'm really sorry. It saddens me. It deeply saddens me that in the modern world that anybody has to deal with such ignorance, that I even have to, wake up here in India, have my coffee, and be confronted with another black student who is caught in this situation. It brings tears to my eyes. But on the other side, we have the blues. And you all know what the blues is. The blues says, feel it, brother. Feel it, sister. Feel all of it. Let it out. But at the end, you better get up and go. So go ahead and listen to A Change Is Gonna Come by Aretha Franklin. And listen to how different it is from Sam Cooke's album. Listen to how differently she is from the beginning of the song to the end, where she says, damn. But by the end of the song, she's like, damn. You know what I mean? That's the spirit that we have to bring to it. And I'm proud that you guys have the opportunity of a very cohesive sort of challenge to you. A lot of students don't have that benefit, and I'm very much putting it that way. A lot of students don't have the benefit of just explicit ignorance. You look at that show, Everybody Hates Chris. You have the explicit racist in the bully and the implicit racist in the principal. And I would imagine at your school, the fact that this is continuing on and on and on and on, and there are dozens of pages about this post, I imagine that you have a healthy mix of both implicit and explicit racist at your school. Realize you're not the first to face this. Unfortunately, you won't be the last, but you do have a legacy, a civil legacy of dealing with this that doesn't demean you, but actually raises your life condition, which says to you, how can I teach myself to have compassion for that person? I accept my rage. I accept that I even may want to smack them down. But I realize that the issue here is that they don't see me as human, and the only way that I can counter that is to see them as human. I know that that's hard. I know that giving a good smackdown might feel instantly better, but you and I both know that that's just not how things go down.